Good afternoon and welcome to City Hall. Thank you for taking an interest in your government. Thank you everybody for being here. At this time, I would like to introduce Reverend Jermaine Armour, the pastor of St. Luke AME Zion Church, for the invocation, and I ask that everyone remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance afterwards.
Let us pray. During this time of Holy Week, we are reminded, Lord, that in Matthew chapter 21, the Bible says that as the people paraded into Jerusalem, that Jesus was in the center of the parade. And for God, this is our prayer, that you are the center of what we do, that you remain the center of how we love, and that you will remain the center of how our city governs. Bless all of our city officials. It's in the name of Christ that we say amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Last weekend, we lost a tremendous public servant to this community in Deb Hayes, and I had an opportunity and an honor, as we all did, to have worked with her and served with her. She served the Wilmington Housing Authority and the Wilmington Planning Commission and was elected to a seat at the UNW County Commissioners. I can tell you, even to the last days for us who were with her, she was talking about affordable housing, homeless issues, and she threw everything she had at it, all of her energy and vitality into anything that she did, and we're going to greatly miss her. And I would just like to have a moment of silence, if we will, please. May God bless her soul, may her memory be eternal. Thank you. First presentation this evening is a recognition of Leadership Wilmington class of 2023, and I have a tremendous class here to my right that we had an opportunity, me and city manager had an opportunity to meet with today, and tremendous class. And I just want to say to each and every one of you, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for the last 10 months to learn about your community and everything that it involves, and from the private sector to the public sector to the nonprofit associations that we deal with every day, and appreciate you folks taking an interest in your community and your governments, and I just say thank you for doing that. This time I'd like to bring them up front.
Yes, sir. I hope so. Y'all can make another line.
Where's Amy? Is Amy gonna? Amy in the red. Come here, Amy. You know, I wish they taught this class in elementary school, high school, middle school, and college, because you need to know about your governments and how they interact with the citizens of this community, and it makes our jobs a lot easier for us that are up here just to have to explain to y'all what we do and how we do it. Now you know, and we appreciate everything you folks have done to find out and get knowledge and find out what we do. So I'm going to read this this recognition, and then we'll turn it over to Amy as the spokesperson. Thank you, Amy. Recognition, whereas the objective of Leadership Wilmington is to educate, challenge, and motivate citizens and to develop future leaders to work for the betterment of our community. And whereas the program consists of 10 sessions to promote leadership skills, community issues, and challenges regional as well as social and economic changes, diversity, equity, as well as inclusion. And whereas the members of the Leadership Wilmington work together and individually to plan and execute a day of service for schools and nonprofits work on Wilmington, and whereas Leadership Wilmington is committed to providing a continuous, diverse supply of creative leaders to the community by developing their knowledge of the region and providing them the opportunity for meaningful action. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Wilmington City Council does hereby recognize the Leadership Wilmington class of 2023 and the Greater Wilmington Chamber of Commerce Education Foundation for their commitment and dedication for contributing to quality of life of Wilmington and the surrounding areas. So I just want to say thank you. I hope you all enjoyed the class. You look like you did. And appreciate all of the great questions today. And these are your leaders for the future of tomorrow. So thank you very much. Amy?
On behalf of the class, we'd just like to thank the Chamber for offering us this opportunity, for the city for recognizing us and hosting this fantastic evening for us. And anybody who's thinking about taking the class, I would highly recommend you do it. You may think you know everything there is to know about Wilmington. I promise you don't. So please consider signing up for the class, signing up for Work on Wilmington. There's still time to sign up if you haven't yet to volunteer for a project. And just thank you to the class and the city and all of the opportunities that we had this year through the Chamber. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to give you this right here. Thank you. So get out there and get some work done. Thank you, guys. Oh, we got Natalie? Yes, sir. Natalie English, Executive Director of the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce. We're all taking a picture here. Next presentation this evening is presentation of the MSD Annual Report. And at this time, I'd like to recognize Christina Haley, who is the Vice President of Wilmington Downtown Incorporated, better known as WDI. Christina, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of Council. I am pleased to bring you the fiscal year 2022 MSD Annual Report. I would like to recognize Tom Davis, WDI Board Chair, who has played an integral role in WDI and the MSD for many years. But I couldn't move forward with this presentation without recognizing Deb Hayes, who is extremely passionate about WDI and its role in the MSD, as well as Robert Rosenberg, who is also part of WDI and a very intricate part of the downtown area. We will miss them dearly. A lot of progress has been made in our MSD and its programming. We have made significant strides in making our district safer, cleaner, and more hospitable for the citizens of this community. These are our highlights. Employee retention was a large focus for fiscal year 22. Our programs are only as good as our staffing. So WDI made certain proposals to our MSD Advisory Committee to recommend measures that would help build a well-suited staff. I'm happy to report that those measures set in place in fiscal year 22 have resulted in a fully staffed MSD with tenured personnel today. WDI, in working with our board and MSD Advisory Committee, also staffed the program with downtown's first social worker to engage and build relationships with our unhoused population living on downtown streets. More concentrated efforts have been made to engage our businesses and our tourists visiting our central business district. Our ambassadors have reached thousands. WDI modernized logos and rebranded, including issuing new MSD Ambassador uniforms to set them apart from our city parking staff. WDI resuscitated and worked with the MSD Advisory Committee to work within the budget to increase funding to our facade improvement grant program, and we issued all funding last fiscal year. We also enhanced the physical appearance of downtown by maintaining all hanging baskets in the district and kept them flourishing all season long. This is the MSD budget in a nutshell, initially approved at more than $440,000. Adjustments were made in the budget to implement one full-time staff member for our street outreach program and increase funding in our physical appearance line item for a total of $25,000 in our facade improvement grant program. This is our budget as it stands currently with a new 5-year MSD services contract with the City of Wilmington. It points to street outreach and ambassadors with increased wages for employee retention and another $25,000 in facade improvement grant programming and other programming as well. One of the key programs funded by the Municipal Services District is our Facade Improvement Grant Program. The purpose of this program is to stimulate new investment in downtown, provide an economic incentive for renovating building facades, encourage quality design and construction, enhance the character of historic buildings, and promote the revitalization and beautification efforts downtown. WDI meets these objectives by providing matching grants of up to $25,000 or $2,500 in single facade improvements and $5,000 in 2 facade improvements. We issued 8 $2,500 grants and 1 $5,000 grant last fiscal year. Facade projects range from $5,500 worth in storefront improvements to over $110,000 in significant construction, repair, and historic facade restoration. This is a photo of before and after of Taco Baby, one of our grant awardees at 125 Grace Street. This photo is a before and after of a historic facade restoration, a commercial building at 21 Market Street. The property owners replaced windows and restored the historical integrity of this building. The MSD maintains 34 hand sanitizing stations and refills them as needed for businesses. As part of our rebranding efforts, WDI replaced the cars with updated logos, including the logo of our sponsor for this program, Novant Health. Through the MSD Ambassador Program, we effectively maintained all 155 hanging baskets in the district, and these are photos of our employees hard at work. The centerpiece of our programming are MSD Ambassador services, ranging from business and hospitality contacts to litter and biohazard removal and street outreach. Our budget provides enhanced services that are above and beyond what is already offered by the city. New in fiscal year 22 is a dedicated webpage for information about our ambassador program and a contact for how to reach our ambassadors. For the ambassadors program, WDI contracts with Block by Block, a nationally recognized leader in hospitality, safety, and facility maintenance. These are our team leaders. They are here with us today, and I would like to recognize them. James Slay, our operations manager, Thomas Peterson, our team lead, and Jack Morris, our street outreach coordinator. If you frequent downtown, here you should see some familiar faces. This is our MSD core team as it stands today. James Slay has worked diligently to form a great team for the services we provide for our citizens. They are the custodians of our district. Our ambassadors perform regular walking patrols covering our 70-block region. This map shows the coverage in our core zone and zones 1 and 2. On routes, MSD ambassadors make regular business and hospitality contacts. This graph shows the progression from the start of our contract with Block by Block. For fiscal year 22, year over year, business contacts were up by 44%, and hospitality contacts were up by 17%. This graph shows the number of individuals and businesses reached. The orange bar shows where we're tracking for fiscal year 23. These are our MSD statistics continued. The graph shows the regular duties performed by our ambassadors. Of note, for fiscal year '22, year-over-year, handbill removals were up by 33%, graffiti removals was up by 11%, and hospitality escorts were up by 87%. Again, the orange in these graphs shows where we are tracking for fiscal year '23. From graffiti removal to biohazard removal, our ambassadors conduct regular pressure washing across our district. This is just a collection of major right-of-way projects and shows the linear feet for the past 3 fiscal years, as well as where we're tracking for fiscal year '23 through February. Pressure washing and other cleaning activities are included in our special projects throughout the district. A special project is any single project that involves more than 30 minutes of work, involves special equipment, and takes an ambassador off their normal patrol route. Year over year, special projects were up by 18% in fiscal year '22. This map shows where our deployments were for special projects in the core zone and zones 1 and 2. This slide is a before and after of a special project and pressure washing duty outside the Wilmington Convention Center. This job took 3 sessions, 10 ambassador hours, and a total of 6,500 linear feet of pressure washing to complete. Here's a point and location map of all pressure washing activities conducted throughout our district in fiscal year '22. This shows you an example of a special project for a large graffiti removal conducted in the Wilmington Rail Trail corridor. In fiscal year '22, ambassadors spent 15 hours over several sessions in this area and pressure washed 3,500 linear feet for removal. These are our points of deployment for graffiti removal in our core zone and in zones 1 and 2 for fiscal year '22. WDI and the MSD began implementing its street outreach program with the addition of Jack Morris to our team in December 2021. Since the inception of the program, Jack has made more than 5,200 interactions with our unhoused population downtown. Jack is a full-time staff member dedicated to our MSD team. This program aims to build trust with the people living on downtown streets, identify those individuals willing to receive assistance, and connect them to the region's network of social services. The position also supports balance and peaceful relationships between downtown's unsheltered population, our local business community, residents, visitors to the city, and law enforcement. Since we started the program mid-fiscal year, WDI does not have a variance to show Jack's statistics. He has, however, had a number of successes in helping folks in our district, including helping them with crisis management, reuniting them with families, finding them shelter, and entering detox facilities. He has made more than 1,000 contacts with businesses needing assistance in this area and more than 1,000 social services referrals. In mid-fiscal year '23, we expanded the tracking of our outreach statistics for better reporting to the city. These metrics include 78 instances of helping folks reach housing, 45 instances of helping folks reach shelter, and 34 referrals to detox or rehab facilities. As you can see, Jack is very busy across our district. This map shows all the points and location where Jack has made interactions with our unhoused population in fiscal year '22 alone. First implemented at the end of fiscal year '22 and into fiscal year '23 are our encampment cleaning special projects. Wilmington Downtown Incorporated, as part of its MSD services contract with the City of Wilmington, has continued to advocate for encampment cleanup efforts. Addressing major sanitation issues downtown and outreach to our unhoused individuals sheltering downtown are within the mission and goals of the MSD. WDI coordinated and executed cleanup efforts at the New Hanover County Main Library and the Wilmington Rail Trail corridor to support the MSD and the taxpayers that surround these properties. Working in coordination with WPD's Downtown Task Force, the new MSD officers, and city sanitation, ambassadors led several cleanup efforts, including 2 at the New Hanover County Library Block, 3 at the 3rd Street Bridge, and 1 recently at the City Gateway property. These ambassador-led cleanup efforts resulted in 110 bags of trash and 54 hypodermic needles removed from our district. WDI also advocated for a partnership with NCDOT, including the rail trail property, which resulted in an additional 19,000 pounds of trash and debris removed from encampments in the rail trail corridor. These are additional photos from those cleanup efforts, including the removal of elements of a pop-up skate park that had formed on NCDOT property near the 3rd Street Bridge. And lastly, though not a result of direct funding to WDI, but a significant project to note, a one-time funding allocation out of our MSD fund made by City Council supported refreshing more than 180 tree wells in the core area of the Central Business District. I am pleased to report that this project wrapped in fiscal year '22. In closing, I would like to thank the WDI Executive Committee and Board of Directors for their support, members of the MSD Advisory Committee for their role in guiding this district, Chance Dunbar with the city, who I believe shares just as much passion as I do in effectively managing this district, and you, City Council members, and your predecessors for establishing this district in 2016 and the measures you have taken to make the MSD such a great success. Thank you, and I'll take any questions at this time.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Christine, I just want to say thank you. I think you have been a tremendous asset to Wilmington Downtown Inc., and I think people should know that you are the person that really coordinated the cleanup under the bridge with NCDOT, and I would like to take this point of privilege of having Jack and our ambassadors stand up and be recognized. I think you've all made really a positive impact on downtown Wilmington, and we really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
For the first time, it really looks like we have an MSD group out there. Since we started this in 2016, it was always kind of like hit or miss, but now I see it. It really looks good. The clothes that they're wearing, they stand out. And I've had somebody come up and try to help me find something. Hell, I've been here 75 years, but he was still trying to help me. So it's doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Barnett.
Yeah, I enjoyed the report as well. I'm interested in hearing a little more about the street outreach. Are we considering having more people to do that, or what's the thoughts on that?
At this time, Jack Morris is our only social worker that's working on the street. We're working closely with the county's Getting Home project, who also has street outreach workers on the street, along with officers that were appointed, I guess, by Chief Williams in working with those individuals. We don't have a plan to expand our street outreach program at this time, but it's something we can definitely take a look at.
Okay, because it seems like, would there be a need? I mean, isn't there a need for one person to cover all that area? It just seems like quite a bit.
It is a lot of area to cover, and it's a lot of folks to reach.
Okay.
I believe there is a need.
Okay, good deal. Thank you. Good
Thank you,
report.
sir.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you to the board, and thank you for everything you folks have done. It shows, and we really thank you for all those efforts. I know there's a lot more work to do, and we'll talk about that in the future, but thank you very much. Good report.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next presentation is an annual update from the CVB and the Convention Center. Frida and Kim.
Thank you, Mayor Saffo and Council, for the opportunity to come once again and share some great news as we go through some of the things that have happened this year, working with the Convention Center and also working on our meetings and convention market. Okay. I always like to start out, and Frida always tells me, you go first and you share these great numbers that we have. So we want to start out with our actual room occupancy tax collections that we saw for this past fiscal year and also where we are year to date for this year. If you can see through January of this year, the city of Wilmington is up 3.75%, and the Convention Center District is our largest growing right now in occupancy tax collections at 26.24%. And I would like to remind you that these came off of a record-breaking occupancy tax year last year of over $22 million came into New Hanover County through occupancy tax collections. And again, that just helps fund our convention center and all the good work that we're able to do through that. Countywide, we're up 7.32% year-to-date through January, and our calendar year 2022, we were up 10.67% over 2021. And as I said earlier, 2021 previously was our largest collections year, so we are topping those numbers as well. And this is just a recap. I won't go back through this, but just showing you where the other areas as well, highlighting Wilmington and the Convention District.
Good evening, Mayor Saffo, Mayor Pro Tem Haynes, City Council. Well, it's great to be back this year, much better than last year. We saw a repeat of annual events as well as events that were rescheduled because of COVID cancellations. Marine balls returned this year, as well as additional wedding business that we were not expecting. So it's been a really good year. At times, the staff or business hours, operating hours, I should say, has been 18+ hours, but the team has been resilient, and we continue to plug along. Oops, I went down. Sorry there. So some of the highlights of 2023, 28 conventions in this fiscal year. This is the most we've had in any fiscal year. It represents about 65,000 in attendance. Attendance is up about 15,000 over last year. We're beating budget by 30% as of the end of February financials, and a lot of this is driven by the military balls that returned in November of 2022. So some great highlights. Down. Here we go. So some amazing things are really, truly happening. We had the Links and corporate return this year after 2 years. We've done events on the event lawn. We've done some incredible weddings. The events have just been very diverse and really strong this year. So I'm going to name drop a little bit. Of the 28 conventions, we started the year with the North Carolina School Resource Officers, followed by the North Carolina Police Execs. We also hosted the North Carolina, or will be hosting the North Carolina Police, the potential pupil transportation, in June. Some really good events. They're also looking at returning in future years. Just a little bit more I'd like to brag about the Girl Scouts in March. We did about 4 weeks of events. We ended in March. We ended last week with the North Carolina Recycling Association. Talk about a great event. We've received wonderful comments. We really had to put some recycling programs in place. You could not enter the building with a plastic bottle. So some really strong events in March, but I want to point out the sweet potato, North Carolina sweet potato came back in January. They book every 5 years. They announced that they came back this year because of the convention center. So it was a great event. We're going to wrap up the end of the year with a new conference for us called the Techno Security and Digital Forensic Conference. That has the potential to also repeat next year. And then we'll also have the Southeastern Association of Fire Chiefs with us. First time event. Our local fire department's very involved with helping to plan that event. So some great conventions. A few more of our event mix. We're always honored to host the Honor Flight. What a great event. We hosted that event this past Saturday. Also back in November, we saluted a veteran. We coordinated that event with the Wilmington Central Rotary. And it was also an honor in October to host the Water Summit for representatives, State Representative Dr. Greg Murphy and David Rouser, and work with their DC offices. So that was a wonderful event as well. And then our local events, our great supporters, Encino hosted one of their employee meetings. Novant's been with us, Power Breakfast, Brigade Boys and Girls Clubs, and the North Carolina Project Lead, they had Ruben Studdard, who was with the White Lotus Gala. So really some great local events. We always appreciate our local partners. Caldwell Bankers did a wonderful awards banquet with us. Live Oak has been with us. Crest Awards was new. Carousel was new, and we hope to bring those events back to the convention next year. Public events, we hosted the Wilmington Marathon, the Wilma Dash, the Boat Show, the Wilmington Geek Expo. We hosted them this past weekend. They had one of the largest attendance that they've had since they've been coming to the convention center. And military balls. They came back this year. We served about 7,729 guests of the military balls. Our target in this coming November is 14,000. Great event. If you ever get a chance to visit, we welcome you to come see one of these events. And we also got to take a picture with the Commandant of the Marine Corps. And lastly, both the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Convention Center also received, for a second year in a row, the Convention South Reader's Choice Awards. So we're happy for that. Any questions for the Convention Center?
Councilmember Waddell?
Yeah, really for the CVB, appreciate both the reports and the great news, but just curious, with these consistent year-over-year increases, does that indicate to y'all a need for more hotel rooms in our market?
Absolutely. I received in our customer feedback today from the North Carolina ABC Liquor stores. It was their general managers conference that we hosted 2 weeks ago. They ended with, "I wish you had more hotels." It's a challenge for conventions of this size. If you get anywhere between 500, 600, or sometimes lower, you know, you're putting a convention in 5 or 6 hotels. What I didn't mention, we're getting ready to host Circle K, 15 hotels. And I don't even know where those 15 hotels are coming from. So it is becoming a challenge. We've got groups that want to come here, but we've got to be able to accommodate them.
And I'm going to fill you in real quick. I know we always mess up when we switch people, but I had a couple more slides, if that's okay.
Quite all right, Kim.
Just wanted to let you know on the sales efforts itself. Of course, you know, the CVB works closely with the Convention Center, their sales team, and we work together to bring these groups in. We had 127 leads for the year compared to 87 last year. So again, they were up. Our bookings are up 57 compared to 42. And our new accounts, we've added approximately 123 new accounts. Again, as we moved this past year and as moving forward, we'll look at our same target audiences. You know, to your point about the hotel rooms, we are having to shift our strategy a little bit because we are having some challenges with the room blocks, which I know you all know. And so we're having to look, you know, so we may have to revisit group size until we're able to get some additional hotel rooms in those blocks. Because as we know, and Frida can attest, it's tough for a planner. You know, they want to be able to use as small a number of hotels as possible when they're booking their groups. So, but again, we're working with that. The staff is great, both at the CVB and Convention Center, about making it work for these planners that are coming in. So we continue to do those groups. And you see there are our target market sections. Last year when we came before you, we talked about the effect of COVID. We had some downtime because, of course, our meeting and convention market was the last one to come back. So it gave us an opportunity to really look at the branding, what we were doing, what we were promoting, and roll out some new materials for the year. So I'm going to quickly just run through some of the new marketing materials that we have. We talked about our new brand, that there are many destinations for hosting meetings in the Carolinas, but only one offers the quintessential Carolina coastal experience, Wilmington, North Carolina, and its 3 island beaches, the Coastal Carolina. And so with that, we were able to produce New marketing assets. We have new trade show booths. We have upgraded our SkyNav 3D interactive convention district virtual tour platform. And if you've never been on our website and played around with SkyNav, it's really cool. Do that, and especially now that we've upgraded it with the new customized tours, geolocations, and more. We have a new attendee and meeting planner videos that we have available now for use. We also have a video direct mailer that we will be mailing to our top 500 prospects, showcasing our new meeting planner video. It's really cool. You open it, it plays the video. It'll be in the planner's hand. They don't have to pull up anything on the website or anything. It's going to be a direct mail that they'll have it in their hands when they get it. And we also have launched Send Sites, which is a platform to be more professional, to be able to better gather our bids and process for the planners and put it all in one. And this real quickly, I'm just going to clip through them. This shows you our new trade show booths, our SkyNav, the video mailer and what it will look like. Public relations, we had earned media of over 552,000 impressions last year on the convention district, the riverfront development, and other 2022 news in that area. That equates to 158,000 in PR value with a 10-to-1 return on our investment. So that's a really great thing as we continue with our PR efforts. And this is some of the activities that went on last year with our pitches. And we had 19 responses to our editorial request. And this is some of the magazines we were featured in. Meetings Today under Waterfront Wonders, Smart Meetings, History Takes Flight, Convention South, Small Meetings with, Small Markets with Big Impact. And again in Meetings Today, First in Flight and Full of Fun. And then our advertising it was driven by our print. It was reinforced through digital. We had our key trade show support, and also, as I said, we were getting ready to send out our 500-plus direct mailers on those. And then these are just some of the placements that we cover both in print and digital. We use a combination of that as we promote the center and promote meetings to our area. And again, this is our advertising creative. It ties in actually into our leisure campaign, Come For, Stay For. It says come for the meeting settings, stay for the sun settings. Another one is come for the convention district, stay for the historic district. Again, playing off that there's more to do while you're here with your meetings, stay longer, spend more money, etc. And again, just some more samples of what we've done with that. And with that, that gives you a recap of some of the marketing efforts that we did and have produced for the past year. So thank you.
Well, no, we thank you, and thank you, Kim and Frida, for everything you folks have done. Frida, I know you had a bear to tangle with there with COVID, and you've come back strong, and it's just a testament to what you and your staff have been able to do there with the customer service. And I've heard it from a lot of different groups that have come to the convention center, how great the experience is down there, and we're just ready to say thank you to everybody. And we do need more hotel rooms. We'll try to get that. And Kim, thank you for everything you folks have done with the marketing efforts and pivoting and changing and looking at different ways that, in different markets that we are trying to go after. So we thank you for that. Councilman Barnett?
Yeah, Ms. Frida, you mentioned that some people complain about the hotels. That's probably your biggest complaint, right? What's your second?
Oh, wow. Convention center is too small.
Okay. All right. Can't help you with that. Okay. Thanks, though. Good report, though. Great report. Okay, I guess because I was thinking, too, that perhaps with the hotel, I don't know if it, like the transportation, like when people come and they get 15 hotels, do they book them themselves, or do you guys help them with that?
Our staff helps with that. Whenever someone calls us, with what we call our leads, we send those out to the hotels, and then we go in and we go to the hotels and find out the room blocks that they'll give us. Okay. And so, we have to put those together, and then from there, we're able to hopefully piece together a package that gives them enough of the rooms that they're needed for their overnight stays. And one of the things we also do when you talk about transportation, one of the services we do offer that we're able to use with the funds that, we receive annually from the city for our convention marketing is we do have a transportation fund. And so if a hotel, for instance, a meeting planner has to come in and use, let's say, 5 hotels, we will actually offer them like motor coach service, transportation service, to bring them from the hotels to the convention center, again, to entice that even though it's a little inconvenient to have to use more than one hotel, but we're here to serve you, we'll help you move the people, and we'll help get them to where they need to be.
Okay, good deal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
And thank you.
Thank you very much. Brings us to our next item of business, which is our consent agenda, items 1 through C4B. Are there any items that any council member would like to hear separately? If not, what are the wishes of this council? We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Spears, second by Councilmember Barnett. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. That brings us to our next item of business, which is our public information. We have 3 speakers that have signed up to speak to us this evening. Each speaker will be allotted 5 minutes. First speaker is Mr. Tom Clifford, who will be speaking to us about the Wilmington Marathon. Tom, welcome.
City Council, thanks for having me here. Conveniently, I'm going right after the annual CVB report. So I own a company here called Without Limits. We put on endurance sports here in Wilmington. We live here, we love this community, and we're trying to grow it with the CVB by hosting endurance events. The two biggest events that we host are the Wilmington Marathon, which just happened in February, and the Battleship Half Marathon, which happens in November. This year we had a record year in both events. The Battleship Half Marathon had 2,100 runners, and the Wilmington Marathon had 4,100 runners. 60% that are from out of town, 40% that are local, that run locally, which we're trying to grow that number to get more people healthy in Wilmington and take the challenge to run from the beach to downtown. If you don't know about the Wilmington Marathon, it starts at Johnny Mercer's Pier, and we close the entire corridor, 1 lane, from the beach to downtown. We rent out the convention center. We rent out Live Oak Bank Pavilion. We have over $70,000 of traffic services that we have to pay for. We spend about $20,000 in marketing, and our main objective in the marketing is obviously getting runners here from the region, but now nationally. The Wilmington Marathon, we named it Wilmington for good reason. It's the biggest name on the map when you look on the United States map. And so we want people to know where they're going. A little bit about the CVB report. We had just under a $6 million economic impact this past year. The CVB report is from the Wilmington CVB, and it states 5.6 million, with organizer spending at 142,000, but actually organizer spending was over 400,000 this year. I wrote a couple things down just so you're aware of where we're spending the money. Some of the big dollars, like I said, $75,000 is in traffic services. We're spending over $10,000 renting city facilities. We're spending $20,000 in transportation services to get runners from downtown to the beach to start the race. We're spending $10,000 just over in police services in New Hanover County Police and City of Wilmington Police. We rent different facilities like the CFCC parking lot, and we spend over $1,200 renting parking spaces in downtown Wilmington for the event itself. So those are some of the line items in our budget that we have. A couple other things that I wanted to let the council know that I think is very important is sponsorship. Sponsorship and help with this event is very important. The number of registrations that don't actually pay for the entire event, about 65–70% of registration money that we get from participants pays for the event, and the others come from sponsorships, which Novant, Lytle, Truist, are some of the companies that get involved, along with Adams Beverage and Wicked Weed Brewing Company, so the runners can have a good time after the race. We're trying to emulate big city races. Charleston Bridge Run, they have 35,000 runners. We obviously can't do that yet. All right, Richmond Marathon, New York City and Boston are some of the big marathons that you hear about across the country. We are now in competition, not direct competition, but we are competing with Raleigh and Charlotte. Their big marathons have about 6,000 people. So we're approaching those numbers because of what we're doing here in Wilmington for our events. The one thing that our events do is they bring diverse from people from all over different realms of, socioeconomic, status and all over the country to run here and set a goal. And so I think by doing this, it ripples into our community. We have a free 1 mile kids run so they can finish the race downtown with all the other big marathoners. We had a girl this year qualify for U.S. Olympic trials that lives in Wilmington, that she'll be representing Wilmington in Orlando in February. So things like this is what this race does. It ripples through our community. I really appreciate your support. And really, I just wanted to inform you, because I'm sure you guys hear a lot of different things in the city, and I think this is one of those highlights that we're not only highlighting this city, but we're highlighting it in a very positive way, trying to get people from all over the country to come here, and we want to get our local general population all over the place to take the challenge to run these races. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Tom, thank you very much.
Unless you have any questions.
Great race. Done a good job. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Mr. Shamar Carr, who would be speaking to us about a complaint follow-up from January the 3rd, 2023. Mr. Carr here? Welcome, Mr. Carr.
Hi. Okay, so sorry about this. I had to put a little bit more together. I'm still working on some situations. From our last time speaking, I addressed you guys with the discrimination that I experienced here inside our county. You guys directed me, and I got some help from our city. I wanted to come up here today to personally apologize, because I was forming a lawsuit against the city for not having my back and this process not going forward in a speedy manner or fashion. I just kind of jetted down a couple of things to address to you guys about, and this will take over 5 minutes, or 5 minutes at the max. I wanted to apologize for the discrimination that I accused your staff members of for not taking properly. The U.S. Department of Agriculture discrimination form, I still need some addressing over how to send that off. The Civil Rights Administrator, Carlisle Dixon, informed me that the month of March, the beginning of the month of March, was her first time being informed about this situation in general, as she called my phone back after me calling her office numerous of times. She informed me that her individuals, Regina Boston and Stephanie Deloche, have not informed her at all about this whole situation over the course of months, and this has happened January the 3rd, and this is current today. She said that she was not informed, as she continues to inform her bosses now to get this addressed. She informs me that this is being addressed now. I informed her that, well, as we continue talking, she informs me that she's getting the complaint across right now, and that her boss and her people should be reaching out to me in a timely manner and fashion. As of that, she also tells me that the only way that I'm going to get this case or get this to federal court or even to a courtroom in general is if I send this form to her. I told her that this government form, I do not trust her, because if she's just now being informed about the situation, then obviously they're hiding something. And I stated that that was a proven fact over why this is a civil case and this is a proven fact of discrimination. She was quiet about that comment. And she also just informed me that the only way of getting it across was to mail it. I told her that me and the city, I was working with Amy, code enforcement officer, and the staff, were helping me create a timeline. The timeline we sent off to the civil rights administrators, not her, but we sent it off to Washington as a civil rights complaint. That was in the beginning of the year. She informed me that complaints of that nature are forwarded to her. And that was a proven fact over why we haven't heard anything back for our civil rights complaint that we sent off months ago. That civil rights complaint we did 3 ways. We mailed it, emailed it, and we faxed it over. Have not heard anything back continuous today. Not once have, I even called them. They don't even have records of it. Of all 3 forms, email, fax, nor a letter. Our conversation continued as she tells me that she doesn't have a boss, and this right here was a county situation. And that's why I was coming up here to address to you guys that I apologize for almost taking legal action on all of you, plus the city. So I contacted the county. I had not heard anything back from our county manager, which I've called numerous times. I even called him while I was inside of the courtroom trying to pursue my civil action for the situation. He would not even answer the phone. His staff wouldn't even direct me. I contacted the chief, okay? The chief of the county had his lawyer call me. That was lovely. I informed the lady that if you're gonna talk to me, I would like it if we met in person. She was talking so fast, I mean, just attack mode. She informed me that she was not gonna see me in person. They're doing some construction on the building, and that she just wanted to know what was this about. And I informed her that, you know, I'm not speaking with you anymore. I hung up the phone. And I also wanted to conclude together about WECT as well and WWAY. I reported to them in January about what had happened to me. And they played a story on the news recently, actually, about, it was kind of like all of my pain and suffering that I've already endured and my suffering that I've explained to you guys, just in a brief summary. They portrayed my story and they've revamped it into something that like DHHS was helping the community. That right there, for me, was a defamation of my character, and they will also be amended inside of my lawsuit. So I would just like further a notice for how do I go further with pursuing justice for the way that I was treated at DHHS for discrimination. Because this week I will be forming a civil suit against these directors and the Civil Rights Administrator, Carlisle Dixon.
I think, Tony, do you, no, Meredith, you're the lawyer here in the room. Do you have any suggestions, legal aid?
So,
They're no help.
Okay.
I was going to say, Mr. Carr has met with Amy, as he mentioned, Amy Schlag and Joe, as well as Brian Renner, our Chief Code Enforcement Officer, and they were the ones that helped him prepare his timeline and to be sent off. And they did interview him and made a determination that he wasn't alleging, and I believe is still not alleging, that anybody that works for the city has done anything to discriminate against him. So there was nothing that we could do as far as that goes. There was no city involvement. I think what he's alleging now involves DHHS and some county officials and Wilmington Health, and I think that's our impression of what his lawsuit's going to be about. And so I don't know that there's anything further that City Council can do to assist him at this point.
So, I think,
So whenever I form the civil suit, how will that be addressed?
I'm not a lawyer per se, sir,
Well,
but.
there hasn't really been any.
I'm sorry, sir, but this is just the public information. You've said your say, and I've got
Right.
to get to the next speaker, but.
I'll appreciate that. Yeah,
But I
there's no
appreciate your
problem.
time, and I appreciate you coming up here and just allowing, sharing your story with us. We've done the best we can here. I think it comes down to whatever lawyer you want to pick, or if there's a legal process out there that somebody can help you with, but, this
Right.
time-
Well, I just wanted to come in and apologize because you guys were the ones that I was attacking at first, and I wanted to apologize for that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
Thank you. Our next speaker and last speaker this evening is Ms. Jessica Cannon, who is speaking to us about Cape Fear Public Utility Authority Customer Assistance. Welcome, Ms. Cannon.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for this opportunity to speak to you all tonight. As a member of the CFPUA board, I'm asking you to join us in trying to solve a problem that has really been plaguing our community for years, namely access to water for our most vulnerable neighbors. We're currently working on building a very first of its kind customer assistance fund in the amount of $500,000 to help reduce the incidence of water disconnects for people who are struggling financially. To give you a scope of the problem, CFPUA has about 70,000 residential customers, and monthly we disconnect about 550 households for non-payment. The average monthly residential bill is around $64, and the average past due amount of those being disconnected is around $250. So every month, we have 550 families who wake up to dry taps. No water for drinking, for cooking, for cleaning, brushing teeth, flushing toilets. Maybe they had to choose between the light bill or the rent. Maybe it was medications. I know you all know this story, but I think it's important to remember that it is one of the most dehumanizing and disruptive things that can happen to a family. I find it troubling to think about the fact that in one of the richest counties in our state, in one of the richest countries in the world, we have so many that go without basic services. But in addition to the humanitarian side of this issue, I want to make an economic and a business case for why we should address this problem together. First of all, a healthy populace is prepared to be productive and successful at work and at school. They need continuous access to clean water. Water cutoffs have happened to many of our essential workers. It happens to people who staff our hospital. It happens to people who staff our community college, et cetera. Also, companies and businesses looking to relocate here are going to be attracted to a community with local policies that really support the most vulnerable and ensure the best possible quality of life for all. And finally, having a water assistance fund could be a powerful arrow in your quiver to promote affordable housing, which I know all of you care very much about. Now, it was wonderful when the COVID assistance came through, and we worked with the city and the county, and we were really able to help our customers. But in general, water assistance is really an orphan of the social safety net. So in the past couple of years, we've really drilled down on what the unmet need is, and we've tried to be very creative about addressing this. Our CFO, John McLean, has assessed the level of unmet need in our community at about $1 million annually. So we are asking the city and the county to join us and just fund half that amount, with each contributing $250,000 this fiscal year. The recipients would be screened through DHHS. It's already sort of a process that's been in the works, and only the most needful would qualify. So that's my ask. I have anticipated a couple questions you might have. First of all, why doesn't CFPUA just set up our own assistance fund? Well, unfortunately, under state statute, we are not permitted to either use ratepayer funds for our customer assistance, and we are neither allowed to offer a discount to those who are most needy. Another concern raised by my friends Charlie and Luke on the board with me is that it seems unfair when the city and the county are called together to do a project together. It's kind of like the city residents are paying twice if it's the same amount. It's the old tension that I know it exists. But I would note a couple of things. In this one particular project, 84% of the assistance funds we expect will be distributed to city folks. And because CFPUA attaches the stormwater and the trash to those bills, you'll be getting a third of that money right back to you. Also, the program will be administered at the county, so that's a sort of an indirect cost for them. And finally, we are not wedded to the 50-50 allocation. If there's a better formula that we can come up to that the city and the county could come together, we'd be absolutely open to that. So I know you all have so very many budget priorities that you are trying to negotiate, but I just can't think of another $250,000 program that would literally and profoundly improve the quality of life for so many people, literally overnight. So thank you very much for your consideration of this. I will email you the detailed outline from our executive director. And also just thank you so much for everything you do for our community.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Our next item of business is our public hearing. Our first public hearing this evening is PH1, which is an ordinance designated in the Giblin Lodge located at 19 North 8th Street as a local historic landmark. And at this time, I'd like to recognize our city manager, Mr. Tony Caudle. Mr. Caudle.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Historic Preservation Planner Jessica Baldwin will review this item for us.
Good evening. 19 North 8th Street was submitted for designation as a local landmark by Giblin Lodge No. 2 and Historic Wilmington Foundation. The site consists of one lot, 19 North 8th Street, totaling approximately 0.117 of an acre. The structure was built between 1871 and 1873, with alterations dating between 1898, 1904, and again in 1939. The lodge is located within the National Register of Historic Places Wilmington Historic District. The Wilmington Historic District incorporates the large historic core of Wilmington. Wilmington, like many cities of the colonial era was dependent upon the Cape Fear River. Incorporated in 1739, the city encompassed the eastern edge of the river. By 1849, due to population growth, major development increased the city's boundary north to Red Cross Street and 8 blocks east of Fifth Avenue. Population continued to grow well into the 19th century, being home to 20,000 people by 1890. The population was diverse both racially and socioeconomically, and through 1900, about half of the population was black, both free and enslaved. The maps here show the boundaries of the growing city through 1911. The Masons of Gibbon Lodge purchased the lot at 19 North 8th Street in 1871 from Francis and Lydia Kirshner. Construction began quickly after, and by November 14, 1871, the cornerstone was laid. This slide showcases the history of Gibbon Lodge as a structure, the first in 1893. The first map of 1893, you can see the pictures. The property is filled with additional structures, and the Masonic Lodge is noted on the 3rd floor. You'll notice the change in businesses through the next years, as well as material changes, which are indicated by the color of the structures. It is not completely clear how the building's material changed from what the map describes as a fireproof special to full masonry, but sometime between 1898 and 1904, a change occurred. We know that alterations post-1915 occurred with the introduction of a retail space along the 1st floor. Gibbon Lodge is the second oldest Prince Hall Masonic Lodge in North Carolina and the oldest in Wilmington. The lodge represents the wealth, agency, independence, and resiliency of the black population of Wilmington prior to the Civil War and well through the 21st century. The early years of the lodge were just the start to its multi-purpose life. The building became a polling place for the 3rd Ward. Exhibitions and festivals were held at the lodge during its early years. In 1875, the lodge served as a location for the first colored industrial fair in the state and perhaps the nation. The fair promoted and showcased black farmers, craftspeople, teachers, and students. The exhibition was such a success that it continued for years to follow until it grew so large that it moved to the state capital of Raleigh. The lodge continued to serve as a meeting place for the Masons, with the 3rd floor dedicated to the ceremonies and practices of the Masonic organization. The political climate of North Carolina changed throughout the 19th century. Gibbon Lodge was a safe haven for black politicians who were often the subject of hostile racist attacks. As black politicians began to gain power in North Carolina, Gibbon Lodge became a target of a white supremacy campaign spreading through Wilmington. The campaign led to the 1898 massacre and coup and devastated the black population of Wilmington, with many leaving their homes in the city for safer destinations and for those who remained facing financial ruin. As a result, by 1900, Gibbon Lodge saw a significant decline in membership, and the remaining members were less able financially to support the lodge. Unable to maintain their property, the members of the lodge were forced to sell a portion of the land. Racist political and journalistic tactics continued through the 20th century, leaving Gibbon Lodge and the black community to lose social, economic, and political standing. The segregation of schools, libraries, and many municipal facilities due to Jim Crow-era laws forced blacks to find resources and developments through their own means of learning, gathering, and socializing. In 1926, a grassroots organization that was created to establish the Black Public Library, and in June of that same year, a library officially opened on the 2nd floor of Gibbon Lodge. The library continued to operate out of Gibbon Lodge for nearly 20 years. Gibbon Lodge Masons still hold meetings at 19 North 8th Street today, and in 2020, the lodge and its members celebrated its 150th anniversary. A community task force seeks it to be rehabilitated to further meet the needs of the surrounding community. Gibbon Lodge stands as a symbol of the deep-rooted ancestry of Wilmington and its black population. The lodge, since its inception, has been a place of gathering, idea sharing, community building, and community building. The structure, as well as the people that build it and the people that continue to maintain it, is a powerful physical reminder of the resiliency, agency, and support of a community that has and continues to strive for an equal society. The Historic Preservation staff notes that the designation of 19 North 8th Street, Gibbon Lodge, aligns with the Create Wilmington Comprehensive Plan as a place that is a historic resource to the built environment of Wilmington. Staff also notes that the property meets the criteria for designation under Section 2 of the City of Wilmington Local Landmark Ordinance by age, as the dwelling dates is 152 years old. Also under Section 2, the property has special significance for its contributions to the Black population of Wilmington, which has been felt since its completion in 1873. The lodge's multifaceted use, not only for the Masonic practices, but for gathering spaces, an exhibition center, public market, public library, give the building special significance to the diverse history of Wilmington. Finally, staff notes that the level of integrity of the building, while alterations have occurred in the structure and to the structure and design, but its use, especially on the third floor, have remained intact and aligned with the National Register description listing. Staff, the Historic Preservation Commission, and the North Carolina State Preservation Office strongly support the designation of 19 North 8th Street, Gibbon Lodge as a local landmark. Any questions?
Any questions of staff?
Thanks.
Thank you. Very good report. This time I'd like to recognize the applicant. Is the applicant here?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Historic Wilmington Foundation is a partner with the Prince Hall Masons. And I just want to introduce, tonight we have the Masons. We have Mr. Armstrong here, Mr. Lightfoot, Mr. Davis, and Mr. Parker here, and Dr. Jackson, all from Gibbon Lodge. It's been a long time coming this evening. Just as a backstory, we have been partnering with the Prince Hall Masons since May of 2021 to rehabilitate this lodge. And we are one of the final applicants for a grant opportunity within the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And they specifically asked this process to occur before that grant application is due on Friday. So I appreciate your consideration tonight, and I greatly appreciate the assistance of the city clerk, who has been very helpful, and also the Historic Preservation Planner, Jessica Baldwin. You have a gem in Jessica, and it has been a pleasure to work with her and an honor to work with her the past year. Thank you, Jessica, for slipping this in. Our partnership exists simply in an advisory capacity. We use the knowledge and the resources within the Historic Wilmington Foundation and our network within the community since 1966 to advise the Prince Hall Masons, the owner of this building, how to rehabilitate this property that preserves not only the cultural heritage within the property, but the integrity of the materials. To this date, we have made significant progress on that rehabilitation. Last September, the roof was replaced on Gibbon Lodge using all private donations. No public funds were used to rehabilitate that roof. That was thanks to a great partnership with the Marion Stedman Covington Foundation, the North Carolina Community Foundation, the Historic Wilmington Foundation's in-kind donation of grant writing, and then also an in-kind donation of Patriot Roofing and Exteriors. A task force that is community-based and all volunteer-run meets monthly at the lodge, and it's really thanks to the task force that the roof was repaired just 5 days before Hurricane Ian came on shore in Myrtle Beach. actually came down to a decision where we had to decide, is the roof going to go on as shingle, or are we going to wait a few days and put a standing seam metal roof on? And I think the right decision was made to get that roof on before the hurricane or any others came on shore. I just want to call out the community partners that meet here for this task force. They include not only the Prince Hall Masons and the Sisters of the Eastern Star, the Historic Wilmington Foundation, representatives from Cape Fear Community College, University of North Carolina, Wilmington, including the chair of the History Department, the Third Person Project, Sokoto House, the Burnett Eaton Museum Foundation. We have support from the city and the county's Commission on African American History and Culture, and also state support from the State Commission on African American History and Culture. So it is a vast group of grassroots community advocates that meet here monthly to further the progress on the rehabilitation of the lodge. Unfortunately, we've also, as a grassroots effort, has said goodbye to two great leaders. And if it were not for their efforts, we would not be here this evening. Raymond Mott, who was a most worshipful master at Gibbon Lodge, and who provided so much inspiration to not only the Historic Wilmington Foundation, but the community as a whole to rehabilitate this building. We lost Raymond late last year. And then unexpectedly, we also lost Robert Rosenberg, entrepreneur and adjacent property owner. And thanks to the generosity of his family, in lieu of flowers, donations were asked of the Rehabilitation Fund, and I believe we have the next bill, the soffit repairs, paid, thanks to the generosity through the mourning process of his friends and his family. So thank you, Charlotte, if you're listening. So what would local landmark status achieve here tonight? Of course, there's this tacit benefit of a 365-day stay of demolition for this property if it were ever endangered, but we know it's in great care with the Prince Hall Masons who continue to meet there. I think what you can do for us tonight is build upon the momentum of this community task force and their efforts to rehabilitate the lodge. Not only is this major grant application due on Friday, it's followed up by another grant opportunity from Preservation North Carolina in May. And if we can just achieve a few more steps on this building envelope, there is a local firm that would be well known in town who has expressed interest in coming on board the project and in finishing the exterior. And I'm seeing some head nods. So we can just get to a few more steps. I feel it's going to be water under the bridge for us in terms of envisioning this lodge as a center for the expression of Black history and culture in Wilmington, continuing its use as a commercial space, as a community center, and of course the third floor as a meeting space for the Prince Hall Masons. They can return to their historical space, their historical meeting space up on the third floor. So thank you for your consideration tonight, and we appreciate your support.
So we're at the one yard line. We just got to get through, right? You got us there.
I'm sorry?
These guys, I mean, we're there, right? We are there.
We're there.
Okay. So I'd like to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to open up the public hearing now and ask if anybody in the public wishes to speak on this item, if they'll please come forward and state their name for the record.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My lovely council members. Of course, I'm Evelyn Bryant, and I'm here tonight representing the city's Commission on African American History, and just to let you know that we, as the commission, our purpose is to educate on historical sections of this community and implement structures or items to be developed. And we took on this project along with the foundation, Giblin Lodge, the Masons, and most importantly, Mr. Raymond Mott, who, when we talked about doing this, we wanted to make sure that we move forward the right way and making sure that we preserve this historical structure. So I just wanted to let you know that the city's Commission on African American History is in support of this idea.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Madam Clerk, have you received any additional comments?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for making the space for this story to be heard. You know, we consider this a Wilmington historical landmark. However, it is a state historical landmark. It is a landmark that is recognized across the country, and more importantly, we are talking about world history. If you go and you take a look at the history of Giblin Lodge, you will find a lot of great men who came through that particular lodge. As a graduate of North Carolina Central University, I was surprised to find that the founder of North Carolina Central University, James E. Shepard, was a member of the lodge. If you know anything about civil rights history and you know who Abraham Galloway was, he was a member of Giblin Lodge. You saw the name Robert Taylor, who's from Wilmington, first African American to receive a PhD in architecture from MIT. He was a member of Giblin Lodge. With that being the case, we believe that greatness can continue to come out of Giblin Lodge. So I thank you for this opportunity. It's an honor and a pleasure to be a member of Giblin Lodge and this vision, and we so hope that you help us get across the 1-yard line into the end zone. Thank you so very much.
Would you state your name for the record, sir?
Okay. My name is Terry Jackson. I'm a native of Wilmington. I'm a proud member of Giblin Lodge. And again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I am the new member, the new Whisper Master of Giblin Lodge #2, and I have just been elected to that position this past January, December, and I am very proud to be a member of this lodge, and it's very historical, and I would definitely like to see a landmark or something representing this historical building, stating the reason it's there, and that it served the purpose of the community, and it's more or less like a lighthouse in the community, and served a lot of purposes for the political portion of back in the 1890s, 98, and it's very historical, and again, I would definitely appreciate it for your approval if you decide to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Jimmy Lightfoot. I'm the District Deputy Grand Master the 19 Masonic District. It covers Pender, Brunswick, and New Hanover County. And I have 10 lodges that I oversee in those counties. Gibbon Lodge is one of them. I'm also a member of Gibbon Lodge. And we are so excited that we are renovating Gibbon Lodge and putting it back on the map. Also, it's a 3-story building that was built by African Americans, and that's the only 3-story building that's still standing in Wilmington that was built by African Americans. The same man that built that building in 1871 also built St. Stephen's Church on 5th and Campbell. And we're very excited to have this building renovated, to put it back in communication with the community and have things that we can do. We're thinking about putting offices on the 2nd floor that we can have economic development so that we have income to keep the building flowing. And that's something that we're having to do now. And we have our brothers here with us, which is Stan, brothers, sisters, and everybody that's a part of Gibbon Lodge. We had the Historical Foundation to help us and get together and bring this historical building back to par. So we're doing that now, and we're so very excited about doing it. And we still meet in the building. We still meet there. And of course, Bishop Shaw, who owns Shaw Funeral Home, first established Shaw Funeral Home, was a member of Gibbon Lodge. And so we have some great men that come out of Gibbon Lodge. And a lot of them have passed on away, and we're the younger generation carrying on. So we're going to continue to do that. And we thank you very much for listening to us. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Montrese Morrison. I'm the past-worthy matron for the Sisters of Giblin, chapter number 646. As they say, behind every great man is a woman, and yes, we are here. I came this evening, and I'm missing my chapter meeting right now because this is very important. This pandemic that we've had has really changed a lot for our members. The organization itself has a lot of seasoned members who have difficulty coming in and out of that building. So when I first came in 20 years ago, I could walk up them steps, and I was on the 2nd floor when I had my meetings. But now we have to move downstairs because a lot of folks can't negotiate them floors. We are in need of any kind of help that this city can provide to make sure that futures ahead of us can still have access to this building. And right now, through the efforts of us here in this room, as well as out in the community who could not be here, there's a lot of people here trying to have some momentum. So I thank you for your time to listen, to hear us, and we welcome any type of support you're willing to give us to continue with this building. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay. Seeing none, I am going to close the public hearing and ask for the wishes of council. Councilmember Spears has made a motion to
Mr. Mayor,
approve.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Just want to make it clear for the record that we provided you with a substitute motion yesterday. Just want to make it clear that you're voting on the substitute
That
motion.
is a substitute motion that we are put forward for a vote tonight. Yes, thank you. We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Spears, seconded by Councilmember Barnett.
There, and Mr. Mayor, I do second that motion, but I just want the brothers to know that in 1980, I was a member of the Masons in King Street, South Carolina. And I do know the work that they do, and I stand behind them, and I'm traveling east. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody ready to vote? Do you have anything, Melissa? Mr. Spears?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to the Historic Wilmington Foundation. Thank you to the African American Commission on History. Also, Prince Hall Masons, Eastern Stars. Thank you for this educational moment. I think we're in a place where a lot of information is starting to come about what took place in Wilmington, and I think it's all positive. It's not a negative thing. There are people owning their parts of history in this community, and it's very important. It's very important for us to move together by knowing that everybody has a stake in what took place and what's supposed to take place here. And so I just want to thank you for that and just want to share how pleased I am, and hopefully we can get the ball across the goal line.
Okay. And with that, all in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on first reading. Is there a motion to waive second reading? Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Haynes, second by Councilmember Spears. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on first as well as second reading. Congratulations, everybody. That brings us to our next item of business, which is item PH2A, which is an ordinance modifying an existing just power went out, MFMHLCD multifamily residential district, medium high density legacy conditional district, boundary located at 111 Warehouse Lane, 3902 Market Street, and 3804 Market Street by removing a portion of land from the existing conditional district and adding a portion of an adjacent O&I office and institutional district parcel. We'll also note that whoever makes the motion must read a consistency statement for the record. At this time, I'd like to recognize our city manager, Mr. Tony Caudle. Mr. Caudle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll note for presentation purposes, 2A and 2B will go together. We'll hold a single public hearing, but it will require two different votes on both ordinances. And this evening, I'm going to attempt to write a two-year wrong and get Mr. O'Mahony's name correct.
Excuse me for a second. Meredith, do I need to go ahead and read then item PH2B now, since we'll be voting on both of them?
Yes, sir, if you'll go ahead and read
We'll
that.
have one public hearing for both items?
One public hearing, and then you'll have to take two votes with two consistency
Okay,
statements.
very good. So I will read for the record item PH2B, which is an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the City of Wilmington, rezone property located at 3804 Market Street for MFMHLCD multifamily residential district, medium high density legacy conditional district to O&I office and institutional district. So those have both been read into the record. We'll hear one public hearing for both items. Sir, continue on.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. The applicant has requested a modification of an existing conditional district rezoning boundary that you may be familiar with from a few years back. This is known as the Switchyard development. They've also coupled that with a general rezoning request for a portion of a parcel extending to Market Street. This is highlighted on your screen and noted in your agendas as A and B. The site's located along Wetzig Road and Market Street. It's currently under development, released for construction. Just as a refresher, this is the site and the surrounding vicinity. These are photos of the existing conditions of the subject property. And these are some more photos of the Switchyard site currently under development. As mentioned, the site's currently zoned MFMHLCD, multifamily legacy conditional district, and O&I, office and institutional district. The site's bordered by O&I zoning, as well as CB, CS, and RB zoning to the north along Market Street and Wetzig Road. To the south, we have MD17 zoning and IND industrial zoning. So on September 8th, 2020, the site was rezoned from CS, commercial services, to the MFMHCD for 192-unit residential development. This project was released for construction on February 2nd, 2022. The areas are shown on your screen here. This is the previously approved zoning boundaries. The conditional district is in purple. which is denoted by that letter A, and then the existing O&I zoning, which was not part of the CD district, is shown in yellow along Market Street. This next map, I believe, is going to be the best way to explain what's happening here. It's essentially just a swapping of one land for the conditional district, and then another portion of that parcel along Market Street to go to O&I. So there are no site plan changes proposed with these rezoning requests. There are two separate requests. The area that is in purple near letter B is proposed to be rezoned to O&I as part of the general rezoning, while the back portion of that site will be rezoned as part of the conditional district. That's where the A is, and will become part of the MFMH site. It's a little confusing, but I think this map right here is the best way to show what's actually happening and changing. And this is the previously approved CD plan, just to show that area that was not in the conditional district bounds. And here's the modified plan showing the modified conditional district area. So the site's located within an urban mixed-use center and high-density transition area of opportunity on the Comprehensive Plan's Growth Strategies map. This promotes the introduction of housing units where appropriate. It also supports maintaining commercial corridors. This modification would support the continued development and redevelopment of a commercial property located along one of the city's major corridors, Market Street, while maintaining the integrity of an approved residential development. Staff believes the proposed zoning amendments are consistent with the recommendations of the Crate-Wilmington Comprehensive Plan, that the request is reasonable in the public interest. Staff recommends conditional approval of the rezoning modification with the conditions outlined in the case summary. Planning Commission also recommended approval of both of these items as well. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant's here as well.
Do we have any questions for staff? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This time I recognize the applicant.
I haven't always been, Dave Spitrino, I haven't always been known for my brevity, but I'll make this real easy. I'm just cleaning some stuff up and getting it organized. There's no need for a long tail anymore. The new dedication of Switchyard Road will go to the city here in a few weeks. So thank you, but I'm glad to answer any questions.
Okay, any question for the applicant?
Thank you.
Mr. Pastrino. This time I will open up the public hearing and ask if anybody in the public wishes to speak on either item PH2A or PH2B. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, have we received any additional commentary? Okay. Do you have any questions from council? Okay. I will close the public hearing and we'll ask for the wishes of council. We have on item, we'll go with the first one first, which is item PH2A. What are the wishes of council? We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Barnett, second by Councilmember Spears. Mr. Barnett, will you please read a consistency statement for the record, sir? Thank you, sir.
I move to approve the proposed amendment to rezone property located at 111 Warehouse Lane and 3804 and 3902 Market Street to modify the boundaries of an existing MF/MH CD multifamily residential medium-high density conditional district by rezoning a portion of the site to O&I, Office and Institutional District, and a portion of the adjacent property from O&I, Office and Institutional, to MF/MH CD, and finding to be consistent with the relevant policies in the comprehensive plan. Based on the application materials and the information provided at the public hearing and in the staff report, and to find approval of the rezoning request is reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. The proposed rezoning would support the continued redevelopment of an adjacent commercial site while maintaining the integrity of an improved residential development.
Okay. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on first reading. Is there a motion to waive second reading? Motion made by Councilmember Waddell, second by Councilmember Anderson. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on first as well as second reading. That brings us to the item PH2B. What are the wishes of council in respect to that item? We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Rivenbark, second by Councilmember Spears. Mr. Rivenbark, will you please read a consistency statement for the record, sir?
Yes, sir. I move to approve the proposed amendment to rezone property located at 3804 Market Street from MF-MH CD multiple family residential medium high density conditional district to ONI office and institutional district, and find it to be consistent with the relevant policies in the comprehensive plan, and based on the application materials and the information provided at the public hearing and in the staff report, and to find approval of the rezoning request is reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. The proposed rezoning would be consistent with the existing zoning along Market Street and would support the continued redevelopment of an existing commercial site.
Okay. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on first reading. Is there a motion to waive second reading? Motion made by Councilmember Anderson, second by Councilmember Rivenbark. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on first as well as second reading. That brings us to our next item of business, which is item R1, which is a resolution accepting the highest sealed bid received for the sale of 1110 Castle Street. And at this time, I'd like to recognize the city manager, Mr. Cottle. Mr. Cottle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Economic Development Director Aubrey Parsley will overview this item for us.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Back in July of last year, council voted to authorize the sale of 1110 Castle Street by one of the three competitive bid processes authorized by general statute known as a sealed bid. Staff prepared the site for sale by demolishing the buildings, which had fallen into a significant state of disrepair due to storm damage and a number of other circumstances, as well as to safely abate all the asbestos located on the site. Those were the main activities involved with prepping the site for sale. Site prep was completed in late November, early December, and staff then initiated the advertisement process for the sale of this property in December by publishing newspaper advertisements, and then again in January when the sealed bid sale process officially began by posting the sealed bid sale package on the city website, as well as pursuing a number of other avenues to get the word out about this property being for sale. The sealed bid sale process generated a high bid from PBW Development LLC for the amount of $867,500. Staff has determined the bidder to be responsible and is recommending that council accept this bid. Happy to answer any questions.
Any question for Aubrey? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. What are the wishes of council? Excuse me, Mr. Anderson, do you have a comment you want to say?
Well, this one, when do we start? 2011, 2012? I mean, you talk about punching it in the end zone. We've been through a lot with this one, so I'm real excited that we're finally going to see something happen over there and that part of Castle Street come alive. So,
I would like to ask, my comment would be that, this was an area that was going to be talked about for affordable housing. I know that Mr. Hipp tried valiantly to do that, was not able to achieve that goal. I would hope that we take the money that we're receiving from this sale and put it into our affordable housing fund. That's where it should be, and we should use it for that since the need is great. And that's what I hope that we would do with that. Okay? All right. We have a motion to approve by Councilman Anderson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Haynes. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. That brings us to our next item of business, which is R2, which is a resolution amending the City of Wilmington Policy 212, paid leave to establish Juneteenth as a recognized paid holiday in the City of Wilmington. At this time, I'd like to recognize our City Manager, Mr. Tony Cottle. Mr. Cottle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Deputy City Manager Mary Vigue will overview this item for us.
Thank you, Mary.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. For your consideration in front of you is a resolution establishing Juneteenth as a recognized official paid holiday in the City of Wilmington. Just as a reminder, Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation of January 1st, 1863 declared slavery illegal in the Confederate territories. It was not, however, until June 19th, 1865, when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and read General Order 3, announcing that all slaves are free, that the news reached Texas. This day, now known as Juneteenth, is celebrated as a national holiday and became a federal holiday in June of 2021. In February, the City of Wilmington's Commission on African American History sent a letter to the city manager requesting to add Juneteenth to the list of recognized and paid city holidays for staff. We were asked to review the request and provide benchmark information along with an overall budget impact. We conducted research that showed that several municipalities in North Carolina, including Asheville, Cary, Charlotte, Durham, Fayetteville, Greensboro, Greenville, High Point, Raleigh, and Winston-Salem, all have adopted policies recognizing Juneteenth as an official holiday and granting employees the paid day off. Budget staff estimates that the average cost to the city of Wilmington is about $113,500, which is primarily in the areas of public safety and public services who typically work on those holidays, and we pay them after for the holiday. We've included with the agenda item the letter that was submitted for consideration, the proposed red line version of the policy itself, and also a clean version of the policy, and a resolution for your consideration to consider establishing Juneteenth as a city holiday for city employees. We have staff here that can answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Mark.
I just want to be clear on you just mentioned the $113,000 is primarily within the solid waste, police, fire. What is the total cost?
I mean, it's a productivity loss in terms of the employees who would be off, the office staff would not work, but we don't pay them additional funding. That 113 is an actual cost, because we would normally grant employees a day off, an extra holiday off that they have to use by the end of the year in solid waste or police. But because of the way Memorial Day and this holiday would fall, we as a city would just pay that, and they would not get that day off because there wouldn't be time.
Let me ask it a different way, Mary, because you're not answering my question. If police, that we used to call that compensatory time.
Correct.
Or get paid for you had to work on the holiday, and later you get paid the equivalent of a day's pay. Is that correct? Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. How about the people like in the finance office or whatever? Don't they get, isn't that a paid holiday for them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't cost us any additional money, but it does cost us a productivity loss of another day, meaning I can't quantify a number other than if I took all of the office staff's salary, because we're not paying, so like, I mean, I'm never off, but let's say I am off for Juneteenth. You're not paying me anything more.
Okay, let me stop you. That's where the disconnect is. They may not be working at their desk, but, I mean, there's a monetary loss to the city. That's the number I'm trying to arrive at.
Well, but we can't I have not been able to quantify that in all my, it's really a productivity loss, and so we would have to look at.
So you can't put a number on the productivity that's lost?
Not without doing a whole analysis on what is not getting done in that day that we are not here.
Councilman Rivenbark.
Well, wait just a minute. Somebody's either they're exempt employees or they're hourly employees.
Well, so the hourlies would be easier in terms of a true hourly employee. We'd be paying them.
Okay.
But we'd lose the productivity, but we're not paying them any more than what we would be paying. I don't know if that, so.
Councilman Rivenbark, we do not have the total figure for the annual expenditure or the daily expenditure of all employees, which is what you're asking for.
And I don't expect that number tonight, but I want to get it.
Yes, sir. We'll be glad to get that for you.
I apologize for not
all right.
answering, but
Thank you.
yes, we'll get that number for you.
Mrs. Spears?
This is something that's really taken off all over the nation. This year, as we went into the new year, my company did something similar. They created a day that was, I guess it was floating, but it was new, and you could use it for Juneteenth or any religious or cultural day that, you know, it could be for you and whatever that's significant to you, of importance to you. It could be to me or what's significant to me or anybody. And so I think this is something that organizations are deciding to pick up and give to people that ordinarily would not be off. And again, I just feel like it's sort of an olive branch of employers to employees to say, hey, you matter, and things that matter to you matter to us.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Spears, second by Councilman Barnett. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. That brings us to our next item of business, which is R3, which is a resolution amending the city council travel budget. At this time, I'd like to recognize our city manager, Mr. Tony Caudle. Mr. Caudle.
Mr. Mayor, this recommendation comes from the Governance Committee as a result of travel expenditures in two council members' line items from being exceeded. We advocated that an additional $1,000 be added to yours and to Councilman Barnett's expenditures. The recommendation from Governance Committee was to concur, and it comes to you for action. It does not require a budget amendment. It is simply a matter of moving money from one place to another. We needed your authorization through resolution.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Ravenmark?
We have budgets for a reason. Remember that. We're going through budget process right now at the city, and we have budgets. So I approved it. I voted, I nodded my head at the governance, but I have a problem with this.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right. With the wishes of council, we have a motion to approve by Councilmember Haynes, second by Councilman Barnett. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. This concludes the regular agenda. Are there any items brought forward by our city interim attorney?
No, sir.
Our city manager?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk? Mr. Waddell? Mr. Barnett?
Yes, April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And the thing that they try to do with child abuse prevention is to connect children with caring adults. And one of the challenges I want to offer all of our citizens is that we connect with the children in our lives. Our kids need us desperately, and you are that caring adult that can alter that child's future, okay, just by being present, just by listening, just by acknowledging them and letting them know that they're loved and they're cared for. And so I just want to remind people, you'll see throughout the city blue pinwheels that remind us that this month we celebrate the prevention of child abuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you. We had a moment of silence for Deb Hayes, a county commissioner, and I just want to say that I personally will miss her as a colleague and a female in public service, and as a good friend and a confidant and someone who we dealt with similar issues in public service. So she will be greatly missed by me personally as well as the community. But I also wanted to remark about Robert Rosenberg, who also passed away unexpectedly. And he was a real community advocate, and he did a lot about downtown. He loved downtown. He worked downtown. They were temporarily living downtown. And he will be greatly missed also. So we lost two very important people to the city of Wilmington.
Thank you. Mr. Rampart? Mr. Anderson?
Just to echo a little bit of what Margaret had to say. Deb's passing came as a shock, just total surprise. I'd seen her days before. And her spirit, vitality, her energy and dedication to this community, you didn't even have to, you knew it when you saw it. I mean, she was into it, and we're going to miss her.
Thank you. Mr. Spears?
Yes, sir. Just want to say on Sunday, we laid to rest a great man from the Seabreeze community, my uncle, George Medrick Bozeman Sr. I don't know what else you could say about a great man such as Uncle Med. He lived in Bolton, lived on a farm, bulls, he cropped corn. I mean, just a great guy. I think the first time I shot a gun, it was at Uncle Med. It was just always fun when you went to Uncle Med's home, and he will be greatly missed. Also wanted to end on a positive note that this year this Saturday at 1 p.m. in Wallace Park will be the return of my annual Easter egg hunt. So anybody that is within earshot or who will share this information. Please bring your kids out, come out, music, bounce houses, of course, Easter eggs and food. Just come out and you enjoy yourself. All you need to do is bring your body. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One last thing, I just want to wish my father a great 93rd birthday. Way to go, buddy. With that, we stand adjourned.